Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Buenos dias. I'm in the building. I'm going in today, y'all. Going in on this Christmas shit today. Grand Rising. Some of y'all might not like this, but enough is enough. You will be educated today on the true meaning of Christmas, also known as Christmas. Give people a little bit of time to get in here. Not they'll catch it later. Now, I'm sure some of you are saying, what does she mean by breaking traditions? Listen, this Christmas holiday is one of the biggest tricks that they've pulled on us as a people to steal our energy and use it to defeat us. But first, let's look at the picture of the Grinch. Look at this, guys. I'm going to break this down for y'all so y'all can understand fully what I mean. I'm going to start the camera. Look at this picture here. You see the Grinch, right? What does the Grinch look like? The Grinch is green, looks like grass. The Grinch represents nature, while Santa Claus is from the North Pole. Remember what I told y'all about the system we live under is called ice. We live under the ice, just ice, guarded by the pole ice. When the police is in pursuit of you, they say freeze. When you join the armed forces, they say you're in the service, you serve ICE. The name of their immigration police is called ICE. They push the movie Frozen as the #1 movie for our children because they want us to remain in captivity under their system. So this right here, y'all. Santa Claus represents Satan's claws, which is the system. And the Grinch represents nature, which is us, because we're connected to nature. It's also in the color green. Okay? Let me show y'all what else is green. The Incredible Hulk is green. And the Egyptian god Osiris is green. Green is another color that represents melanin. It represents melanin, and it represents mastering your consciousness as a human being. It represents mastering your Kundalini energy. It represents you understanding the 360 levels of understanding, not levels of knowledge, unlocking your sources within you, which is really 9. Okay? 9 is the top of the ethers. If you look, they just put a statue of Biggie in New York City, but they made it 9 feet tall. Why? Because they're harvesting energy from the top of the ethers with that 9. Biggie was born on the 27th of the month, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to go into this Christmas thing. Now, them having the Grinch represented by nature and saying that the Grinch stole Christmas and making the Grinch become the bad guy is only an undertone for them having us to place our energy into their Christmas celebration. What does Christmas mean? I'm going to tell y'all right now what it means because I wrote it down. The secret meaning of Christmas. Mass is a memorial and a sacrifice. In a Eucharistic prayer, the Church commemorates Jesus Christ and his redeeming work, especially his sacrifice for the sake of all humankind through his crucifixion. So we celebrate this Christ Mass celebration on the first day of the winter solstice. Okay. Winter solstice is December 25th, the first day of winter, and it's one of their high ritual days. Okay, December 25th is one of their high ritual times, actually, periods in a year. So when they represent the Grinch as being green, and they have Santa Claus who lives in the cold, who comes from the cold, you better not shout, you better not this, you better not that. I'm telling you why Santa Claus is coming to town. He knows when you are sleeping. He knows when you're awake. Meaning he knows when you're unconscious and he knows when you're not unconscious. Okay, so you got Santa Claus representing them and the Grinch represents us. But anything that represents us, they make it into a bad guy. But like I said, they have the Grinch in green. And nothing grows in the cold. You can't grow nature in the winter. So it's telling you that these two opposing forces, elements, are at war with each other. And they're represented by the cold element, and we're represented by the heat element, which all living forms of life, grass, trees, everything grows in the sun. So we've been told that Jesus Christ was born on December 25th, when in all actuality that could not be possible. Jesus being born in the winter. Jesus wasn't born in the winter. Jesus was probably murdered in the winter, but Jesus wasn't born in the winter months. Now, by us celebrating this holiday, we're actually giving our energy to Satan's claws, Santa Claus. That's what Santa Claus represents. But they're telling you we celebrate the birth of Jesus, but they never ever speak on Jesus on Christmas. You don't see none of these advertisements saying that they're celebrating the birth of Christ. They're actually celebrating the death of the Christ energy, which we represent. So by them telling us that the Grinch is evil and making it into a cartoon and planting in the mind of the children that nature is evil and having them switch all of their powers and hopes and dreams into Santa Claus and his reindeer. That tells you how they could maneuver and switch our energy. Now, not only that, but if you decide, like my mother, the other day I went food shopping with her, and my mother was asking me about what you doing for Christmas. Now, I always tell my mother, for the past 10, 15 years, I've been telling my mother I do not celebrate Christmas anymore. You know, I send my grandson money for Christmas because if I don't send no money or I just totally ignore the holiday, then everybody's going to say like I'm some evil person. Okay? Like the Grinch. So I'll send money for him for Christmas. But I don't celebrate these damn holidays, y'all. These holidays, I already know what time it is. I already know this is a shift of energy that is in order to keep this spell going in the English language. So many different factors here point to the fact that they use our subconscious minds to rule the world and make us do what they want us to do. By them having us put so much emphasis and energy into Christmas, that helps them to celebrate their pagan holiday. So they're actually tricking us into celebrating the death of Christ, the murder of Christ. But they're telling you that it's celebrating the birth of Christ, but there's no evidence of it celebrating the birth of Christ because Christ is not the topic on Christmas. The topic on Christmas is whatever new game is out. What are you buying your children? The Christmas tree, the Christmas lights, everything except for Jesus. They don't have a statue of Jesus when they do these big showings of the Christmas tree at the Rockefeller Center and all that. There's no pictures of Jesus. There's no likenesses of Jesus. So by us keep on participating in these pagan celebrations and these rituals to their gods, because they don't have the same God as us. They have different gods. So by us putting our emphasis and energy into the holiday of Christmas, all we're doing is giving them permission to keep holding us in captivity under just ice, freeze. Don't let the sun come in and warm up the place and bring about fruitfulness and growth. Shut down the Grinch, which is nature, and replace it with Santa Claus. They don't even want you to say that you bought the kids the gifts. The gifts that's coming from this big old white man who looks like he's Jewish. Take the red and white suit off of Santa Claus. Put a black hat and a black coat on it, on Santa Claus, and what would he look like? A Jew. So you're taking away all the emphasis from the natural people of the world, the people who are of nature, because the Grinch is green, looks like grass. Grass doesn't grow in the cold. Nothing grows in the cold, okay? And now they got your mindset thinking everybody's energy is going towards the Grinch being the bad guy and killing Christmas and giving all that energy to Santa Claus. And ain't even giving it to Jesus. It's giving it to Santa Claus. Now I'm gonna tell y'all what where the Christmas holiday comes from. It comes from a pagan holiday called Saturnalia. Okay? Let me look this up. I took everything out what I wanted to do. And then they even have signs, symbols, all of that stuff that I was looking up today, this morning, when I said I was going to talk about this and break down how they use our energy on Christmas to keep their harvest and everything they want going. They tell us that it is the season to be jolly. It is a time of ornaments and green decorations, silver bells, holly, mistletoe, and colored lights. It is also a time of department store Santas calling out their universal mantra, ho, 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 Merry Christmas. Nearly all of the realm of the so-called Christianity join in and repeat the same greeting, Merry Christmas. Although we hear these words constantly as they resonate millions of times throughout the land, almost nobody understands what they are really saying. It is the purpose of this track to take the words Merry Christmas and examine the true meaning and essence of these words. A true Christian would want to examine everything they say because Jesus said in Matthew 12, verses 36-37, "But I say unto you, that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. For by your words you shall be justified, and by your words you shall be condemned." We will now set aside all of the customs, glitter, and traditions of Christmas, which were taken from pagan witchcraft and popularized by the Roman Catholic Church, and we will focus on the true meaning of the words Merry Christmas. The word merry is simple to define. It unquestionably means to be happy, joyful, and lighthearted. The word merry fits into the ambiance of laughter and frivolity. This word merry by itself is innocent and innocuous enough, but as we well now see, it becomes heinously blasphemous when used with the word Christmas. Here, let it be noted that most people think that the word Christmas means the birth of Christ. By definition, it means death of Christ, and I will prove it by using the World Book Encyclopedia, the Catholic Encyclopedia, and a book entitled The Mass in Slow Motion. If you are an honest, sincere, and discerning Christian, please read on. If not, you might as well stop right here. The World Book Encyclopedia defines Christmas as follows. The word Christmas comes from Christus Mais, an early English phrase that means Mass of Christ. It is interesting to note that the word Mass, as used by the Roman Catholics, has traditionally been rejected by the so-called other religions. It would stand to reason that since all of these denominations love and embrace Christ Mass, that December 25th is the great homecoming day when all of the Protestants become Catholic for a day. It would seem that all of the so-called wayward daughters, whatever. As previously stated, the word Mass in religious usage means a death sacrifice. The impact of this fact is horrifying and shocking. For when the millions of people are saying Merry Christmas, they are literally saying Merry Death of Christ. Furthermore, when the fat man in the red suit laughs boisterously and says, Ho, 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 Merry Christmas, he is mocking and laughing at the suffering and bleeding Savior who died for our sins. He does this while parents place their little children into his waiting arms to hear his false promises of gifts that he says he will give them. Consider what you are saying when you say Merry Christmas. What up, Dro? So, in all actuality, they're telling us that we're celebrating the birth of Jesus on Christmas when we're actually celebrating the sacrifice of Jesus on Christmas. I don't know how many times I gotta keep telling y'all how they use us to kill us. Because by them representing the Grinch as a green character that looks like grass, that's nature. And we represent nature. I told y'all before, these people represent the cold. They're not of nature. Nothing grows in the cold. Grass, nothing grows in the cold. So therefore, they're having you look at yourself, what represents you as evil, and has the Santa Claus looking as the good guy, and we all putting in the kids actually are putting their little energy, their pure energy into Santa Claus. Now, I think if more parents and people and grandmothers and stuff understood what Christmas really means, because all they did was take one S off of it, and it's really Christ Mass. That's what it is. But they just took one S off of it. The English language within itself fools you and has you placing spells to make sure that their system stays in place. And this is one of them. Christmas is the biggest one. Christmas is the biggest one. Then they're actually pulling energy, using your currency, your money. You go and spend all your money once a year. You go spend all the money, all the savings you put away, all the stuff that you did for the whole year, and you just let it go for one day because you want to make sure that nobody's looking at you as the Grinch, as the evil person, and not wanting to celebrate Christmas because it's tradition. It's tradition. It's been taught that it's our tradition, but it's really not. It's the tradition of our enemy that we help by giving it power and energy. And they trick us in so many ways doing this shit, y'all. It's hard to decipher, but it's right in front of your face. I always wondered why the hell the Grinch was looking like that in green, like it looks like grass. But I didn't put two and two together until I got older. And I realized how they use your energy with these movies that look innocent enough, and by being cleverly disguising the main theme. You understand? And who the real enemy is and what the real negative energy is by making it look lighthearted. And, oh, it's just a cartoon. But it's aimed at the children because the children have the purest. The children are still pure. They're not tainted yet. So their energy and connection is better than a grown person who's already been tainted and what have you. Energy is very, very important. But they don't teach us about energy because they want to use it for themselves. So I just wanted to get up here and make y'all understand that when they have us celebrating Christmas, they really have us celebrating the death of this Christ energy. And we represent the Christ energy as well. The Christ can only come from us. That comes from the Bible. The Christ was bronze with hair of wool. Okay, so there's so many different clues that you wouldn't really understand what's going on unless you decipher it. And just by me just meditating and watching, like this morning, I got this download to just break this down a little bit on this channel, and whoever sees it, but When they have us celebrating these holidays, they actually have us participating in their rituals. And it's such a hard thing to break because it's even hard for me. Like when my mother was asking me about Christmas, I didn't want to get nasty and mean and, sit there and explain to her. But I think that more parents should sit down and learn these things and sit with their children and explain to them that it's time for us to pull our energy away from all of these celebrations that we have that we're giving power to. Because we can't get mad at anybody if we're not trying to really understand how they pull the wool over our eyes and take our energy back so that we can, live without their influence. But this is how slick these people are. They're very clever like that. They can disguise their true motives and make it look innocent, and everybody's participating in it without really knowing what the true motive or agenda is. And then when you speak on it, everybody gets mad at you. You're a grouch. What can we do about it? I've been celebrating Christmas since I was a baby. I understand because when my family members start asking me about the holidays, I feel bad, but I had to force myself not to participate anymore because I know what giving my energy to this does. I understand it now. And it's pretty hard to articulate to other people if they're not really in that type of mindset. But let me tell y'all, it's the spirit realm. It's your unconscious mind that rules the world. Because anything that they want to manifest or give power to, they trick you into putting your energy into it. So if your energy wasn't worth anything, they wouldn't go through all of these lengths and all of these clever ways of stealing your energy. And Christmas is the main holiday where they steal your energy. And it's even a time where they say statistically that this is when most people commit suicide. So if most people are committing suicide during the celebration of the sacrifice of Jesus, of the direct descendant of the Most High, which we are, that also speaks of us celebrating our own sacrifice, or the sacrifices that are made on us every year. They're tricking us to giving them permission. We're out there, we're sitting over Merry Christmas, Merry Death of Christ. That's what we're saying. But it's hard to make people understand that because everybody's trying to be positive and lighthearted without really knowing the true meaning of what's going on here, how these people trick us. Now, I posted something earlier today that I found about the English language that I'm going to play here really quickly. Grand Rising, Dro. And I just want y'all to understand how important energy is. Even if you can't break tradition, maybe you can understand and be more conscious of when you're giving away your energy, what actually is taking place. Okay, this is a science. This is science, y'all. I tried to post it today and it didn't even go up. Let me see. Where did I put it? Billions. Here it is. Let me play this for y'all real quick.
If Satan ruled the world and he had a unified language, what language would everyone speak? That's right, English. Did you know that English is a Germanically derived, occult-influenced language? Why do you think our language is called spelling? Other languages do not derive their vocabulary words from witchcraft terms. The words in the English language were crafted by known occultists, like Sir Francis Bacon, whom you may not have heard of, but you probably heard of his secret writing group called the Spear Shakers, or should I say Shakespeare? Yeah, William Shakespeare was not a real person. And we know that because the writing styles in his different stories are drastically different. William Shakespeare is responsible for introducing 1,700 words into our vocabulary. William Shakespeare was not a real person. He was a group of individuals ran by Sir Francis Bacon, a known occultist, who had an agenda. He had an agenda to normalize witchcraft into our everyday speech. Speaking of normalizing things, what do you think Hollywood is? Hollywood is the wood that witches and wizards use to craft their wands and staves out of. It's a derivative of Hollywood. Yeah, Hollywood. It's an extension of witchcraft. And to this day, it continues to craft our language even further.
The Hollywood viewing point is marked with a blood drop. And people still think it's a
If Satan ruled the world,
Now, what he's talking about is etymology. It's the form of witchcraft, and it is in the English language. We practice witchcraft without knowing it because they're forcing us to do it. They're sneaking all of these things into everything that we surround ourselves with, our traditions and our communication as well. You ever notice you have a negative thought out of nowhere? That's the devil. But the devil tricks you by disguising, like it's you thinking the thought. Right. Because I keep saying this every time I go live. The greatest thing the devil ever did was to convince you that he did not exist. So anytime you try to point things out to people who are not really privy to this type of information, because occult only means secret. Occult means secret. So now that their secrets are being shown to the public, all this time, the past 100 or so years or more, they've been able to keep what they was doing secret, and now it's not secret anymore. So that's why they kept talking about the glaciers melting and the ice melting, because the system that they are represented by and all the tricks that they pulled on this is represented in code by ice and the cold. So when they keep telling people about climate change, what they're actually saying is these people are waking up. We can no longer keep our secrets anymore. So now they got people, they're using people who influence the majority of others to keep it going. They had to switch it up because now they have, or the illusions that they were able to pull on us before, they can't do that no more. You got the internet now revealing everything. Everybody's breaking everything down. So now they're tricking you into choosing which side you're going to take. And the more people that keep supporting these things unknowingly, they don't understand that they're giving their energy to what's keeping us captive. This whole system. But it's definitely represented by this damn picture. And I put it side by side on purpose because I wanted y'all to understand the severity of what I've been saying. Let me get this. Where's the picture? Look at this picture, y'all. You can see right now, you're never going to look at the Grinch again and don't see this and don't see that. It's nature. It's grass. Look at the Grinch. That's nature. So they fooled us now. Okay? The Grinch stole Christmas, meaning when the sun comes out, you know what I'm saying? And things start to grow. Like plants and trees and grass and nature, just the natural order of things that they have taken over and disrupted. And they fool everybody. They always make these movies for the kids because I told y'all they're magic. That's why they always use kids for rituals, because they're pure and they're magic. Yeah, Grinch, much love to the Grinch. The Grinch is the hero in this story. He's not the villain. He's the hero. He's nature. He's us. This is the demon right here, Satan's claws. And they tell you he's Satan. They call him Santa Claus. They just switched around the letters just like they did with Christ Mass. They call it Christmas. It's the same thing. So I just wanted to tell y'all about that really quickly and break that down because I keep trying to tell people that these people use methods, the way that they have control and the way they're able to use our control is through the subconscious mind and things like that, by guarding what they actually want to do under another guise, like disguising it as something else. But if you really break down what they're showing you, you can see it. It's right there in your face. Satan's claws, Santa Claus. He knows when you are sleeping. He knows when you're awake. So I just wanted to drop that real quick, y'all. I got a lot of videos to make today. I'm trying to get my YouTube presence up a little bit, but I hope that I made this clear what I'm trying to say about Christmas and how it's really a big celebration of the death of Christ, which is our energy. They have us celebrating them suppressing our energy and keeping us under their control, keeping us frozen. Okay? So peace and love. Later, Dro. I'm out.